Kia ora, welcome to our next video. This is the final one in Alexander Becomes King, with the number 6, Planning an Invasion. So remember from the previous videos, Alexander has crushed the rebellions in the north, he's crushed the rebellion of Thebes, and he dealt with the Thebans very, very harshly indeed. The message is very clear. If you defy Alexander, things are going to go very badly for you. Now, the plan for invading Persia, this can now begin. This has always been Alexander's main goal. It was the goal of his father Philip, and it is his goal now as well. The League of Corinth, the Greek states, they all voted to unite under Alexander, just as his father Philip had voted to unite under Philip. Now they vote to unite under Alexander. Alexander is going to lead the invasion of Persia on behalf of all of the Greek states, just about anyway. Alexander sends an advance force under Parmenio. Parmenio is very, very important to our understanding of Alexander. He was Philip's most trusted general, and now he's Alexander's second in command as well. Parmenio is probably about 65 at this point, but he is still very healthy, very vigorous, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He's extremely popular with the army. He's an experienced general. He had been Philip's number 2, and now he's Alexander's number 2. Alexander's force will follow after Parmenio has established a beachhead in Persia. It's about at this time that Alexander decides to make a visit to the oracle at Delphi. As you know, with Delphi, you will get an answer from the oracle about what the future holds for you. And so obviously, if Alexander is going to go and invade the Persian Empire, he needs to find out if the gods are with him. He actually visited Delphi, and Alexander turned up, and the oracle was closed. It was out of season. Perhaps it was, I don't know, Saturday afternoon or something. But the oracle was closed, and Alexander didn't look like he'd be able to actually hear the words of Apollo. Alexander was having none of that. He went to where the priestess lived, ordered her to come out. When she refused, he grabbed her by the arm and started dragging her towards the temple. She, being dragged on the ground, said to Alexander, "Oh my gosh, you're dragging me. You are invincible, my son." Alexander dropped the priestess's arm, said thank you very much, and left Delphi, having heard from the priestess that he was invincible. Typical Alexander, he always gets what he wants. It was around about this time that he also actually visited Diogenes. You remember Diogenes, the philosopher famous for living in a barrel outside the city, and also famous for doing certain things in the street that one would be arrested for doing today. Well, Alexander visited Diogenes, and Diogenes was outside his barrel, lying there in the sun. He was sunbathing with his eyes closed, barely covered at all, a tattered cloak perhaps protecting his modesty, and Alexander rocked up in all his glamour and finery. And he says to Diogenes, "Is there anything that I could do for you?" And Diogenes looked up, opened one eye, and said, "Yes, you could move out of my sun." And this is sort of, this tale is true or not, it's hard to tell, but if it is, it's one of the only times Alexander was put in his place. He sort of said there, "Is there anything I can do for you, Diogenes?" as the great giver, offering to do anything to help Diogenes, and all Diogenes wants is for him to move out of his sun. He doesn't want any wealth or jewels or anything like that. Apparently, Alexander's men, they expressed to Alexander their frustration and anger at Diogenes for speaking to Alexander like this. But Alexander said, no, it's fine. He said, if I wasn't Alexander, I would want to be Diogenes. And actually, the two are quite linked because, look at this image here. They are complete opposites. Alexander wants the whole world, and Diogenes is just happy with his barrel. But there is that connection there because I guess they're both at the extremes. Alexander wants everything, Diogenes wants nothing. And the connection is a little bit stronger because they actually both died on the same day, but that is further down the line. So Alexander assembles a massive pan-Hellenic army. The numbers are hard to tell, but because when it comes to numbers in the ancient world, the enemy have always got thousands, hundreds of thousands, and the Greeks have only got a small number to beat them anyway. So it's very difficult to actually tell, but it's generally presumed Alexander would have had probably just over 32, maybe 35,000 troops. 12,000 were sent as an advance guard. So all up, we probably got just under 40,000. I would say it is a bit hard to tell. Here's the elite. It's worth looking at what he's got, I think. The elite is his companion cavalry. These were a couple of hundred strong by now. Alexander would lead the companion cavalry. They were the elite cavalry of the Macedonian army. Kind of the backbone of the army was the phalanx, which fought in the center, and that was made up of numerous wedge-shaped soldiers wielding the 5-meter long sarissas. Then we have the allied cavalry, many from Thessaly, as well as archers, slingers, and specialist mountain troops. Alexander also took with him siege weapons, towers, catapults, and javelin throwers. These were disassembled when the wagon train is moving and would be assembled when laying siege to towns as needed. He took with him engineers, he took bridge builders, he took surveyors, and he took the supply corps. This is a massive undertaking. All these people are central to an army invading an area the size of Persia. Medical corps would have come, obviously. Botanists, astronomers were there because Alexander wasn't just a campaign of conquest, he wanted to find out about the area. He took philosophers with him. He took seers, prophets who could tell the future. He took historians, particularly Callisthenes, who was the nephew of Aristotle, and he took geographers. So this is an army of conquest, no doubt about that, but it's also an army of information gathering that Alexander has assembled. He does want to find out about the people and about the area. So, 334 BC, the invasion is on. This is a massive force that Alexander has assembled, led by the Macedonians, who are tough, they are disciplined, they are well trained, and they are experienced. Many of the Macedonians would have been well into their 30s and even their 40s. Many had fought with Philip. And the reason Alexander is doing this, because these experienced and successful soldiers give everyone the air that this is an experienced army that is going to win. By the end of this invasion, Alexander is literally invincible. No army that he led into battle ever lost. This is going to change the world. The world will never be the same again.